Good afternoon, everybody. Okay, so we everybody, include me. So we have been studying for Lamrim for almost most of you, I think 10 months. Some of you have been studying Lamrim for 2 years. Anyway, so we everybody must have a long-term planning to practice Lamrim. I don't think any of us can achieve liberation or Buddhahood within this lifetime. It takes long time to achieve Buddhahood. Right? You should not think I will practice Lamrim only this lifetime, only this life. You should think doesn't matter how long I will continuously practice the Lamrim until I become a Buddha. That means we really need a long-sighted, not only short-sighted. That's why one of the Tibetan master, Kunjen Jayanjapa, he said, you need to practice, you need to study the Pranjana Paramita. You need to practice the mother of Buddhas until you become a Buddha. So that's why we really need a long plan. So how we can make a long plan? How we sure we can sure so next life I can practice Lamrim. How I can sure after next life continuously I will practice Lamrim. It is not depend on Buddhas, Gurus and Bodhisattvas. It depends on you. For example, since we are child, so we already make a plan. Okay, first I will go to school, then high school, then college, university, then finally I get a job, then I earn money, then I earn house, then my life is happy. Same thing we need to make plan. Okay, since maybe this is the first time we have human life. We never know. Look like we are. This is the first time we have the human life, particularly the human who really meet the Dharma, the perfect teaching, perfect gurus, perfect time. We are very lucky to meet gurus who are completely have experience of Dharma, who are completely have a knowledge of Dharma, and also we are very lucky, we are able to listen the teaching, we are able to understand or think about the teaching. Also, we are able to practice the Dharma. We are very fortunate. Not only that, so also we have a more than enough time to practice Dharma, practice Lamrim. So overall, we really think I'm very fortunate. So this is the first time we are having, human life. If we really lost this good opportunity, then look like we lost forever. That's what Chandrakirti said. So this is the first time, you are having human life. If you don't really use this human life in the proper way, then you're going to lose this opportunity forever. If we lose this opportunity, then we won't practice Dharma and Lamrim. The next time, 100% sure, we're going to take rebirth in lower realms. Even though if you are reborn as a human, which is where there's no any Dharma, no gurus, no master, no teaching, then how we can practice Lamrim, Dharma, teaching? So that's why, we make a long plan. First, we practice the Dharma. Lamrim include, Lamrim mean like a bodhicitta, emptiness, 6 pranayana paramitas, renunciation, taking refuge. We practice as much as we can in this life. That means we are really doing, study. Not only study, also, doing practice. The second, yes, I know right now I can practice Lamrim, I can study Lamrim. How I cannot be, how I can be sure I cannot be take a rebirth in lower realm for next life. It's also depend on you. So in order to take a, rebirth in higher realms, first you need to practice the Shila, which is a Pratimokya vows. Then you will have an excellent life, excellent body. So when we practice Lamrim, we should not just only practice great compassion, bodhicitta, emptiness, so and so. We must practice the Pratimokya vows, the morality. So how we can practice this one? That means you always think, I'm not going to harm anybody. You totally need to be free from harming others. Or you should not harm anybody, include insect. Then finally you will have able to practice Shila or Pratimokya vows. Then next life, you definitely take a rebirth in higher realms. Second, even though if I will take rebirth in the higher realms, how no I will have, the good opportunities to practice Dharma, then try to practice the generosity. So when we practice generosity, now we will be able to learn how to, practice, what does mean generosity, how I can practice, how I can start to, practice generosity. Third, then we learn, what things I must give, what thing I must not give. When we give things away, when we offer things to someone, make sure what kind of motivation you should have, make sure what kind of motivation you should not have. Then due to, practicing generosity, then you will have all the, condition for practice of Dharma. Then, so again, okay, we will take, rebirth in the higher realms, which is we have all the condition, the food, house, like a clothes, whatever we need, all the necessary. But if you still born, really physically, challenge like physical problems, then still you cannot practice Dharma, right? Then number third, what you need to do, you need to practice the patience. So when you practice patience, definitely you will have the beautiful human life. Everybody likes and loves you. You won't have any kind of enemies in your life. That means you can have a perfect condition to practice Dharma and Lamrim. Then another important one, even though we will born in the higher realms, we have a beautiful body, we have all the condition, even though it's not sure it can be cause for liberation or Buddhahood. That means still we need to put the joy effort. The joy, because if you can see in the Singapore, someone some of your friends are very rich. They were born in the rich family. They have everything, but they are quite lazy in Dharma. We should not mix the hard worker, right? Hard worker work very hard and, joy effort. You can put, a lot of effort for bad doing things. You can put a lot of effort to, wasting your time. It doesn't mean those are the joy effort. That means you always try to put effort to practice, study, Dharma. That means you always have a sense of joyness, sense of happiness about, good actions, good conduct, good practice. Then another important, so we cannot become a Buddha, we cannot achieve Buddhahood only practicing generosity, shila, patience, joyous effort. We need a mindfulness. The mindfulness, concentration is one of the very important key factor to achieve liberation, achieve Buddhahood. So far, everybody try to practice Dharma, Lamrim, Bodhicitta. First, few minutes, we have, the energy to practice the Dharma. Slowly, we feel tired, feel lazy, remember to do something. You always get, obstacle in your practice because we don't have the right concentration. So, if we have a right concentration, then definitely you can see the, progress of Dharma very short time. If you don't have the concentration, mindfulness, it means you have the what call ox, like cutting tree. What do you call? X. Okay, no ox cow. X. Look like you are very strong. You are a beautiful person. You are always strong. You have an X. The X is not enough sharp. There's not really sharp. You try to cut the tree. Doesn't matter how much you can put effort. You cannot cut the trees. Right? When you have a concentration, you fully focus on your practice. That's why we really need to practice the concentration or mindfulness. Not the last one, then we see wisdom. Top of them, among top of them, then we really need a wisdom. So next time we will spend a lot of time with the sixth chapter, which is the wisdom. It will have I think everybody will have little difficulty to understand, but so we will put effort, we will spend time, that we will understand little bit the wisdom. Why wisdom is so important? We are not talking about becoming intelligent, becoming smart. Yes, all of you are very smart, all of you very intelligent, but it doesn't mean all of you have a great wisdom. Because in Tibetan the word, because she rap, she means knowing, understanding, seeing, knowing, understanding, awareness, something. Then we add a rap. This way, prajnan, par-jnan, right? That means the knowledge, the understanding, the awareness must be the best awareness, best understanding, best knowledge. How is become best? Because all other wisdom, when we use it, it can reduce it can reduce certain ignorance. For example, when you have enough knowledge about English language, you can read any English books. It eliminates certain ignorance, which is ignorant about not able to reading the English. But it doesn't bring you to understand the truth, the reality. Look at, even though two people have a, two person have a conflicts. They have a lot of argument. When they come together, talk together, they explain, the situation, and the situation become more clear. Finally, you can see the dispute or the argument going to finish over there because they know the truth and the reality. So far, why we are in samsara, so far why we have all the suffering and problems. We should not think only it is my karma. It could be karma. You should not think it is my karma. You should think it is my ignorance. I'm a very ignorant person. That's why I have all the problems. Then number last, we really need to practice the wisdom. That's why in order to, practice the complete, the Lamrim, we make a long plan. Not only for 1 life, 2 lives, 3 lives, 100. Maybe we make a plan for, 1 millionth life. Then many people think, oh, it's too long, right? It's too long, also very difficult. Then what, Kadamba Master said, if you don't practice the Dharma, if you don't follow the Dharma, how long you will be in the samsara? Right? Forever. That's why, for example, you need, somebody say, okay, if you do this, you will be suffer in 3 hours. If you don't do this, you will be suffer for, whole life. So which one you will choose? Of course, you are happy to be suffer for 3 hours rather than having suffering for whole life. That means, at the beginning, when we practice Lamrim, yes, the difficulties, problems always there. Then slowly, if you put continuously, if you put effort continuously, then slowly you can see more. It become more easier. So also you can feel, you can get, really benefit through, about practice of Dharma and Lamrim. So otherwise, if we don't practice Lamrim or Dharma, then we will be in samsara forever. So this is a very important time for us, very important chance, very, very rare, unbelievable kind of opportunity. So we should not lose this opportunity to doing, very petty, very little things. So because, we have been doing all the, petty, unimportant thing many lifetimes. But we always in suffering, we always in samsara. So this is the, time we continuously will go, in the samsara, or remain in samsara, or we will, continuously go into the liberation or Buddhahood. This is the kind of, we are in the junction. We are in the, in the junction. There's 2 roads. One go into lower realms, one is going to higher realms. Not only higher is going to the, you can call, with Tibetan use, city of everlasting happiness, right? City of everlasting happiness. Now we are in the junction. So you go up or down. Down is not depend on Buddha, not depend on Guru. You depend on you. Make sure every day you must remember, I have this opportunity. I won't lose this opportunity. I want to practice Lamrim Dharma. If you do practice, Lamrim Dharma, while you are practicing, you are very happy about your life. You have a less, emotional problems. Also, you will have a less physical problems. If you don't practice Dharma and Lamrim, you have a more emotional problems, you will have a more physical problem in this life, and next life definitely, we will have continuously all the problems and suffering. Each time everybody generate, the perfect motivation. So until now, so we study Lamrim until the generosity, ethical discipline. So before we move the ethical discipline, everybody just turn page number 1 to 7. It's a revision. 1 to 7. How to give. Right? So look at when you don't have a really time, you just read this, the headlines, right? Headlines. How to give. How not to give. Right? That means it's bring your mind in the in the page. How to give, how not to give. That means teach you, when you give, how you do give, how not to give. Then, things to give. What thing you must give. Then, brief presentation of the things which are and not to be given. The detailed explanation of things which are and are not to be given. Detailed explanation about inner things which are not to be given. So do you remember when it is mentioned here inner? Inner is referred to what? Inner. Detailed explanation about inner things which are and are not to give, not to be given. Inner mean life, right? Your life will be called inner things. So if there's a not, great benefit, you should not give your life, your flesh, your, like hands and legs. Even though you can see there's a great benefit, also you need to compare. If I give my life or my flesh, my bones, you can see it can benefit, big benefit to someone. If you continuously in your life practice Lamrim, which is more benefit, you need to choose the, which is important. Then inappropriate giving from the viewpoint. So when you don't have a time, you just read this, the headlines, headings, one by one, and try to reflect. So this is kind of, you can understand the complete meaning of generosity. Then next, ethical discipline. Okay, now we have a short time for ethical discipline. Then we will move practice of patience. At the beginning, what ethical discipline is? How to begin the cultivation of ethical discipline? The divisions of ethical discipline. How to practice? A summary. So, without looking at your book, can you tell me what ethical discipline is?
Explanations of refraining from harming others, turning your mind away from harming others, and from the sources of such.
Okay, that's good. Totally, restrain your mind, harming from others, then from the source of such as harm, right? So ethical discipline is an attitude of abstention that turn your mind away from harming other and from the source of such as harm. Harming other means, when you feel I will harm someone, I will do some bad thing other, certainly you restrain, right? What does mean source of source? Basis. Basis. What are the bases? Okay, I will test all of you. I think you father read or not. So when we talk about, ethical discipline, there are how many types of ethical discipline are? 3, right? What are they? Yeah, the ethical discipline of restraint, the ethical discipline of gathering virtues, the ethical discipline of acting for welfare of living beings. So last two, the first, second and third, Number 2 and number 3 are, we just really name, ethical discipline, but it's not the real, ethical discipline. Then this mention, individual liberation. When we take a vows, vows. For example, as a layperson, when you take a layperson vows, how many, discipline you will have? You will have 5 disciplines or 5 precepts. Then is 5. That means 5 is the root. That. Then second, when you take a, like say monks and nuns vow, that there's a number becoming more, but the root are same. We're same. When we talk about discipline, we will mostly is emphasize about physical discipline. Then mainly emphasize to avoid or stop the 10 non-virtuous actions. 10s, right? 10 non-virtuous action. What are the 10s? How many is from bodily? 3. Verbally 4. Mentally 3. Look at mentally 3. When we practice, ethical discipline, is not much talk about the mentally, actions, mainly the verbal and physical, right? That means the 3, from physical actions, and 4, the verbal actions are the source. Is talk about source. That means first, your mind totally, free from, free must be, your mind totally free, right? I think abstention, turn your mind away from harming. That means you should not have any sense of harm. Then, not only that, then you must be, your mind, you turn your mind from the source. For example, killing action. Before you killed, you have the harming mind, right? First, you should not have the sense of harming mind. Also, you should not kill. That means you should not have a mental action. You should not have the physical actions. Source referred to the 7. 3 from bodily, 4 from the verbal. So this is the kind of definition. Then important one. So when you practice generosity, it eliminate the stingy, also again attachment, right? Particularly when you practice the generosity, also it reduce attachment and stingy attachment. Do you remember? There are 2 more very important kind of condition, which is you are not able to free from samsara, right? 2 at the beginning mentioned, you never, 2 factor, attachment thoughts, at the beginning, there are 2 causes of not initially transcending or arising above the second existence. Right? Have you heard the word? There are 2 causes of not initially transcending or arising above second existence. Right? 2 causes. What are they? Actually, I repeat this one 3 times, right? Attachment to home. attachment to sources, and attachment to the home. Right? The home refer to what? Refer to the place where we live. For example, we have a look at interesting. When you think about your home, what we think, my home, right? Then when you think about Singapore, what do you think? My country, my nation. Then when you think about like Asia, what do you think? Asia, Asia, like America. When you think about Asia, you still have an attachment about the Asia. Then you have an attachment about the universe. There's a two, causes which is attachment towards your sources and attachment towards your home. Sources refer to, the belonging. So when you practice the generosity, you reduce the two causes of, not transcending from the samsara, not arising above existence. Yeah, this is very important to know, the two causes. So here another important one. Therefore, you bring about the perfection of ethical discipline by progressively increasing your habituation to this altitude until you reach completion. Right? So in order to accomplish the ethical discipline, you no need to, be free, all sentient being free from harming. What you need? You really need to practice, right? Ethical discipline by progressively increasing your habituation to this altitude. What kind of altitude? Yeah. Abstention, that turning your mind away from harming other and from the source. You always start to have you be free from, free to harming others. Next, benefit, right? How to begin the cultivation of ethical discipline? How we can start to practice ethical discipline? How? Each time, for example, when you practice generosity, how you begin to practice? Then contemplation between benefit or practice of generosity, practice, the faults of not practice generosity. Here, same thing. Before you practice, ethical discipline, you must think the benefit of, practicing ethical discipline, the faults of not practicing ethical discipline. That means, look at the human being have a very interesting mentality. When you think about benefit, gaining good thing, you always want to do, right? So when you think I cannot get any benefit, then you don't want to do anything. That's always, before you practice any practice, 6 paranjana paramitas, 6 perfections, always think, the benefit and the faults. The faults is opposite of benefit or not? Benefit and loss, right? Actually, loss and benefit. I think loss. As a person who generated the spirit of enlightenment, look, it's very important. As a person, so let's say we are, we practice, we are follower of the Mahayan tradition. We are follow the Bodhisattva path. That means, we generate the genuine one or not. We still, try to generate the bodhicitta. So when we generate bodhicitta, we make a promise. Promise, right? What kind of promise? Benefit all sentient beings. Benefit all sentient beings. In order to benefit all sentient beings, what you need to do, you need to practice the Bodhisattva deeds, Bodhisattva paths. When you practice Bodhisattva paths, you need to practice the 6 perfections. Within 6 perfections, you need to practice ethical discipline perfection. So when you look at here, then promise to train the Bodhisattva deeds. You have promised to endowed all living being with the ornament of ethical discipline. You are not thinking, I'm going to practice, I'm only practicing, ethical discipline. I wish all sentient beings, can practice ethical discipline. Then, discipline of the perfection Buddhas. Therefore, you must accomplish the aims of all beings. In this regard, you must first develop the strengthen of your own pure ethical discipline. Right? Other people wish to practice, other people wish to bring to practice this ethical discipline. First, you must practice your own pure ethical discipline. Not saying ethical discipline, pure. For if your own ethical discipline is impure and degenerate, you will fall into miserable rebirth and will therefore not even achieve your own welfare, never mind the welfare of others. Right? That means before you wish to other, sentient being, bring into practice of ethical discipline, first you must practice your own, pure ethical discipline. We say pure. Why? Sometimes you can see, the people who, has taken vows. For example, monks and nuns. When they have, they took the Pratimokkha vows. When they see people, they try to, look like pretend they really follow the ethical discipline. When there nobody, around, him or her, then they don't much care about the ethical discipline. This is no pure. Pure means, other person see or not, other person going to notice or not. They always think, I'm a monk, I'm a nun, I have a taking, I haven't taken all the vows. I always maintain the vows all the time. Doesn't matter the person or anybody can see or not. This is very pure. Also, related to the pure, look at, when we practice Dharma, somebody, will see you, you try to practice Dharma. Nobody, can see you, forget to practice the Dharma. You should not be like this. Because it's your own benefit. The person can see or not is not important. Ethical discipline. If you're not able to practice, then, you will fall into miserable rebirth and will therefore not even achieve your own welfare, never mind the welfare of others. Why? If if your own ethical discipline is impure and degenerate, why you will fall into miserable rebirth? Why? Why? Look at, we need not saying, anybody will, fall into miserable rebirth, if they don't practice ethical discipline. If they don't practice discipline is impure and degenerate. The person who has taken the vows, the person who has taken the ethical, the Pratimokkha vow, if they don't practice purely or impure or degenerate, they will fall into miserable life. Because, for example, you make a promise to your parents or teacher or your boss. You say, I will do this for, I will finish this job for 1 week. You make a promise to your boss. So you cannot finish. Then what you get? You will get punished by your boss. Right? But the boss will really give you punish, or really the boss will really scold you. But discipline or impure is not really, giving punishment from Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. No, they never give you punishment. But it's totally because, for example, when you take a vow, so you have a very, pure mind. When you are not able to practice the, the discipline in pure way, slowly become impure. Impure means your mind become, polluted. Your mind become polluted by attachment, desire, anger, this thing. That's why you will fall into miserable rebirth. You can see the person who not able to maintain the, ethical discipline. That means the mind is controlled by attachment, desire, anger, whatever, right? For example, everybody, let's say everybody, has taken the vows, particularly take a vows not lying anytime, right? Then suddenly, we saw there's a, kind of big amount of money somewhere. Then, you are close to the money, in money which is close to the bag which has a lot of money. Then somebody say, "Oh, is your bag? There's a lot of money." Then you say, you try to appropriate. Yes, it's mine, right? When we see the money, then we slowly start to lying. Is lying start because of the attachment towards money, right? That means if you're not able to maintain the ethical discipline, slowly your mind become polluted by attachment, anger, desire, ignorance. That means your mind become very, dirty. That's why you will fall into miserable rebirth. So this is, I think, benefit. So I think everybody know this one. There's nothing I can explain furthermore other benefits from this. Okay, so before we explain the three ethical disciplines, do you have any question which you don't know after you read all these pages? No question, huh? No question. Okay, next we just study about the three types of ethical discipline. Number one, the ethical discipline of restraint. This is the most important among the three. The Bodhisattva Lips says the ethical discipline of restraint is the 7 types of vows of individual liberation. 7 types. Okay. So individual liberation, because in Sanskrit there's a Parti Moksha vows or Parti Moksha vows. Parti mean individual. The meaning individual. Parti. Moksha or Moksha is liberation. Vow is the Parti Moksha. Yeah. Sosotharpa, individual liberation. That's why when they translate in Tibetan, we call Sosotharpa. Then English become individual liberation. When you think about the meaning, Parti Moksha's vows. Parti Moksha means individual liberation. What does it mean? If you practice, ethical discipline, you will achieve, liberation. If you practice ethical discipline, other person not achieving liberation, right? That's why individual liberation. So how many types of individual, vows of individual liberation has? That means 8 types of vow of individual liberation. What are the 8? 7. So, yeah, 7 types of vows of individual. What are the 7? Okay, full ordained, vows. Two full ordained vows. Then 2 novel vows, Galon Pamani, Gizu Pamani. Then 2 layperson, individual vows. That means totally 6. Then 1 Galon Pamani, Gizu Pamani, Genye. 1 novel. Okay. Become a nun? Oh yeah, 2 years to correct. For example, the order, first you need to take the layperson vows. Then you need to take the novel vows. Then you can, before you take a full ordained vows as a nun, then you need to take another vows for 2 years, 2 years or 3 years for the test. Then you're going to get the full ordained vows. That means, we have a full ordained monks and nuns vows. Then we have a true novel, like male and females. Then we have a layman vows. There's another vows. 1 day. Lay person we never call into divine into true, right? Layman vows. Then maybe no. Kelon Pamani, Gizu Pamani, Kelon Pamani, Gizu Pamani. Yeah, precept. Then the 2 years, the middle kind of, because we Tibetan call, kind of middle vows. 8 types of. So, as a lay person, there's a true tradition. You can take within the 5, you can take 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5. Okay, it depends on you. Or if you cannot, you can just say, I will never, kill anybody, any human being in my life. Or you should think, I cannot do any kind of, sexual misconduct with, anybody except my partner. You can take, just 1 or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then, when you take a, precept, there's a 5 or 8. Right, 5 or 8. 5, the root 5 plus not taking intoxin, right? Intoxin, then.
You're talking about 8 Mahayana precepts.
Yeah.
Not taking intoxication, not wearing ornaments.
Ornament, yeah.
Not sleeping on high beds.
Yeah. Yeah. Then when you're taking, so then when you take the novel vows, how many vows are there? 36. Maybe, different traditions have different numbers. Then the last, when you're taking, so between, for example, the lady or who wish to take the full ordained vows, between there's a 2 years has a test, then there has a 8 kind of, kind of precept or kind of 8 types of vows. Then when you take the full ordained vows as a, bhikshu, 253. As a bhikkhuni, 353, 100, more. That's why many Western, people, particularly the Western female, they feel they have a little kind of, criticizing about Buddha teaching. They thought it's not fair. the monk has a less, nun has a more. Do you know how the vows, give it by Buddha? Do you know? No. At the beginning, Buddha never ever mentioned about you should do this, you should not do this. Just at the beginning, Buddha just gave the Four Noble Truths, teaching about Four Noble Truths in the Varanasi, just teaching, let them practice, the Four Noble Truths. Then there will be, there were more, gather, more monks, and at the beginning, no nuns, only monks. Then within the monks, somebody did something wrong. Then there's problems with the villager. Then Buddha said, you should not do this since today. All monks should not do this. Every, the vows, give it by, Buddha one by one. For the nun, at the beginning, I think due to the culture of India, in Indian culture, like 2,600-700 years ago, the culture is very difficult. They always consider, female are very low, male are very, superior, other is, inferior. They always look down. At that time, if Buddha suddenly give a, full audience, or suddenly let, female become, like a bhikshu or bhikshuni, so the people in the villager won't accept. That's why Buddha really, make sure, the people were happy. That's why who become the first full audience? The female. Step mom, right? Nani, step mom. What is her name? Mayavadi is his mother name, right? Prajapati was his stepmother, because his mother passed away just after 10 days after Buddha born. That's why first she came to see Buddha and request to Buddha, to give a full audience. So at the beginning, Buddha refused to give a full audience vows. Then slowly, the Mughal Putra request to Buddha. Then finally, they received the vows. So before receive the vows, Buddha gave, certain kind of condition, particularly 8 conditions. If you are able to follow these 8 conditions, then I will give you the full audience vows. First gave, 8 conditions. Then, they really happy to accept the 8 conditions. Then slowly, they got the full audience vows. I think there's a lot of, that time there were a lot of argument. Many people say it's good, many people say no good. Okay, so anyway, 7 types of vows of individual liberation. Thus, given that there are those who have taken the vows of individual liberation and are also keeping the Bodhisattva vows. It's very difficult to understand, right? This sentence. That means just think about, someone like me, I have taken the individual liberation vows. Then I have taken the Bodhisattva vows. Plus this, I have taken the Vajrasattva vows, also Vajrayana vows. That means I have 3 vows. Then, how is vow? That means I have taken 3 of them. Then there's another group, who are only taking the Bodhisattva vows, not the individual liberation vows. Right? There's 2 groups. Is mentioned here now, thus given that there are those who have taken vows of individual liberation and are also keeping the Bodhisattva vows, right? The 2. The ethical discipline of restraint is either the actual vows of individual liberation for the group of either lay person or renunciate, or it is the practice of restraint and abstention, the word of associated with those actual vows. It's difficult to understand, right? This sentence. So difficult to understand.
Bad English.
No. Bad knowledge.
So obvious bad English, right?
No. Because it's translated from Tibetan to English.
Precisely.
So difficult to understand. This is the problem. Then second, look at he said, also giving that there are those who have taken the Bodhisattva's vows, who are unsuited to be, recipient of the vows of individual liberation. The ethical discipline of restraint is the practice of restraint and abstention, the giving up my deeds. This is wrong by nature, and this that is wrong by prohibition. That would be said with the vows of individual liberations. So difficult, right? It's difficult is because it's translated from Tibetan to English. Now I will try to explain based on Tibetan.
That is a good English. You'll be speaking good English.
Yeah. Okay, we just look at here. Ethical renounce, or it is the practice of restraint and abstention that will be associated with those actual vows. Okay, actual vows. Actual vows is referred to the individual liberation vows. Okay, actual vows that refer to what? Individual liberation vows. Look at. So in order to have the individual liberation vows, the person must take the individual liberation vows, right? Individual vows. The second, look, also giving that there are those who have taken the Buddha, only, we have to say, only Bodhisattva's vows. Okay? Only. Haven't taken any individual vows. Yeah. Who has only taken the Bodhisattva vows, who are unsuited to be recipient of the vows of individual, right? That means who haven't taken, or not stable, suited to be recipient of the vows of individual liberation. That means someone, can take the Bodhisattva vows, not individual liberation vows. Someone is not suited, not stable to take individual liberation vows. Do you remember? So at the beginning of, before we taking the individual liberation vows, there's a few questions going to ask, few questions. Within the question, I don't know which. He talks about where. I think best number. At the book number 1 maybe. Okay. One, they ask question, make sure, are you human? Are you human or not? Human being or not?
Yes.
Because someone, is actually like a Naga, or someone actually being from the heavenly, from a formless being, and they came to the planet to receive teaching. At the same time, that time they manifest as a human, but they are not real human. Then they ask, are you sure? Are you human or not? Human being or not? If the being is not human, the being is not stable to take the individual liberation vows. And also, they ask a question. Also, they test, make sure the person is full male and female, fully male and female, right? So someone can be as a female for few weeks, they change as a male. Someone can be as a male for few weeks, it change as a male. The gender, is changeable, right? There's another being who are not really male and female. They don't have a kind of the become gender, right? Yeah, nothing. Those kind of being is not stable to take a individual pratimoksha vows. Why not? When they change the gender, right? Change the mentality, change. They don't have the stable stability mind. That means they are not stable to take a vows. When you take a vows, you must have a strong mind, right? Those kind of being still able to take the Bodhisattva vows. Bodhisattva vows, right? That means we have two types of group. One already has taken individual liberation vows. Also, they are stable to take the Bodhisattva vows. There's another group who are stable to take the Bodhisattva vows, not stable to take individual vows. That means those who taking true vows, has taken the true vows. That means is to look at Bodhisattva vows. The ethical discipline of restraint is either the actual vows of individual liberation, either the actual vows of individual liberation for the group of either lay person or renounce. It is the practice of restraint and obsession, the word of the ascet with those actual vows. This means the person who has taken both vows, this means their vows is actually individual liberation vows. Okay. The second one, look at, also given that there are those who have taken the Bodhisattva vows who are unsuited to be recipient of vows of individual liberation, the ethical discipline. We are talking about ethical discipline, right? Not talking about the, individual liberation vows. The ethical discipline of restraint is the practice of restraint and abstention, that giving up any dish this is wrong by nature, or any dish this is wrong by prohibition that would be associated with the vows of individual liberations. In order to know this, we need to know two things here: wrong by nature or wrong by prohibition. Do you know the meaning? I think I don't think all of us in Gelang. Let's say, as a lay person, Buddhist, it's okay to take alcohol or not. Alcohol is right. Actually, Buddha said very clearly, generally, if you consider you are follow after me, you should not take any, intoxin or alcohol. If you still taking, alcohol and intoxin, you should not consider I'm your teacher. I'm not consider you are my disciples or students. Buddha said this way. But generally, the Buddhist, lay person is okay. You can take, the alcohol. taking alcohol is not totally against the vows, right? It's not naturally is bad. Naturally bad. Also, second, the sexual misconduct. Naturally is not bad. It's become bad after you have taken the vows. Okay, vows. For example, killing, sentient beings, killing human being is naturally bad. Naturally bad. That means when you against, the vows, some is totally is naturally bad, something is not naturally bad. It's become, bad because you against the vows. That means there's two types, natural, wrong by nature, or any dish that is wrong by prohibition, right? Prohibition. That means would be associated with the vows of individual liberation. That means is going to against, naturally, again wrong by nature or wrong by, prohibition. Is talking about, two types of, first we simply think there are two types of group. One, already taken two vows, individual vows and bodhisattva vows. There's another group who haven't taken, individual liberation vows, only have taken the bodhisattva vows. That means when you against, when you're doing something wrong, that means it's become, when you did something wrong, that means once who taken two of the vows, it does mean it totally against with the individual liberation vows. Second, who haven't taken the individual vows, when they did something wrong, this is again the nature or wrong by prohibition. Not wrong because of the person has taken the individual liberation vows. Right? Okay, you read few times, then you become more clear. It's true because when we study, during my study class, and everybody have same experience. You read very, precisely. You try to understand the meaning. You don't understand anything. You just, leave it for a few weeks. Read it again, then you become more clear. Okay, so you can give few days, then you read again, you become more. Okay. Number two, the ethical discipline of gathering virtues. The ethical discipline of gathering virtues mean that you focus on virtues such as 6 perfections and then develop the virtues that you have not developed in your mind. Do not spoil the one that you have already developed and increase both of these ever further. Right? That means the second is mainly about, develop the virtues. Something which is you already develop, you develop furthermore. Something you haven't developed, you try to develop, you try to start. Both of you just, that means mainly focus on gathering virtues. Number 3, ethical discipline of acting for welfare of living beings. The ethical discipline of acting for welfare of living beings means that you focus on the welfare of 11 sort of living beings. I don't know the 11 sort of, I try to get the number, but I cannot. Anybody have the number? Welfare of 11 sort of living being. And then up.
It's page 265. 265, the 11 types of living beings. 265.
Okay, now everybody just look at 2665.
265.
Oh, 265. 265. Yeah, the number is mentioned here. Page 265 under the 3
Okay,
yeah. 265, right?
Page 265, note 2. Under the point.
Ah, 238. Yeah, okay. 238. Okay, yeah. Hmm. 238.
No, 265. Yeah, page 365. No. Page 265.
Okay. I think we have a different version, right?
Maybe 266. My book is 266.
265.
265.
5.238.
265. Okay, yeah. 265. Yeah, there are 7 types of vows, individual, non-serviceable, monks, or non, yeah. 11 types of living being. Those who need help, those who are confused as the mantra. Okay, so I think that number is there. Everybody read slowly and try to understand all the meanings. Okay, that's good. Yeah, 7 types of vows of individual liberation are listed according to the person receiving the vows: full ordained monks and nuns, noble monks and nuns, laymen and laywomen, and the novice about the becoming nun, 2 years. Vow taking the seat for the responsibility for the full ordinance. Oh. Gelong Pamani, Gezu Pamani, Ganyan Pamani. Oh, yeah. Sorry, I think we 11 types of. Okay, so anyway, these numbers are there. Now we just move to the patience. So we need to spend a lot of time with the patience. Yeah, because first I thought he's going to finish 2 classes, but not. It's a lot of pages. Okay, patience is generally very important. Why particularly the person who practice Bodhisattva path, patience is very important. If you're not able to practice patience, for you very easy to get angry, right? Angry, because when you get angry, anger arising within your mind. Anger is the one of the words or very pure enemy of the Bodhisattvas. Because Bodhisattva always practice compassion, right? Compassion. If you get angry with someone, that means you are not able to practice compassion. So patience is very important. So this way, there's not like negative as anger. There's no practice like a patient. Practice patient is one of the best practice. Anger is one of the kind of very pure enemy as a Bodhisattvas. That's why practice patience is very important. So we can have a tea break, then we will go. Okay, so next the new topic about the patience. So everybody really read page by page, try to understand and try to apply the meaning. It's one of the very important practice. It's really important practice in Dharma, also very important practice in your day-to-day life. So many problems we face because we are not enough patient. We face so many problems because we lost our patience. So practice patience is very important. Particularly, practitioner of bodhicitta, great compassion, we always practice patience. Okay, at the beginning, page number 151, right? Okay, we just go through the headlines or headings. again, how to train in the perfection of patience. What patience is? Again, question. Now, how to begin the cultivation of patience? Again, contemplate between benefits and loss. Then the division of the patience has a 3. Then developing the patience of disregarding harm done to you. We cannot be disregarding. So we practice patience of disregarding harm done to you. Then stopping impatience with those who harm you. If somebody harm you, still, be patient, should not be impatient. Then stopping impatience with those who prevent your happiness and with those who cause you to suffer. Another is very not easy, right? Somebody prevent your happiness and cause you to suffer. Then showing that anger is unjustified. Sometimes somebody, did something bad for you, so we get angry or get, angry. Anger is unjustified. Then, on analysis of the object, anger is unjustified. When we do analysis, why I'm angry, why I have anger, then you can see the anger is unjustified. Next, on analysis of whether the object has self-control, anger is unjustified. So when we get angry someone, we need to think, the person or the he or she is a self-control or is not really in control. That you can see the anger is again unjustified. Again, analysis for the either advantageousness and inherencies, anger is unjustified. So this word is very important in like a dharma, advantageousness, right? Advantageousness, inherencies. This is very important because we believe after we practice dharma, we're going to wish to become a Buddha. In order to have a really conviction about will becoming Buddha, in order to have a the strong conviction about achieving liberation, you need to know the nature of afflictive emotions, nature of ignorance. All of them advantageous. It look like for example, yesterday afternoon we had around here we had very heavy raining, raining very strongly. At that moment I really don't know the weather, the condition is advantageous. I think it's lasting forever. Then I will be very upset. I will I could be very unhappy. If I know this weather is happened for a short moment, it's very advantageous, then for me still I feel it's okay. I will be patient for this bad weather for 20 minutes. There's another one important I share with you. In India, in the ancient time, there was a king. The king has two spiritual teachers, very famous. The king was looking the one sentence, just one sentence, one single word can make people happy. Or can make people unhappy. Just one sentence can people make happy, people can make unhappy. Can you think about one sentence which make you happy, which is make you unhappy? One sentence. you can give advice to someone, the person make happy. Very happy, or also the sentence make the person unhappy. Do you think one sentence? Do you think? Okay. Then the king asked to the two teachers, the spiritual masters, we must have a one sentence the people can make happy, the people can make unhappy. Then one teacher said, one sentence cannot make both happy and unhappy. Then other teacher said, it can. The king asked, what is the sentence? The sentence is very nice. They say, this time also going to end. This time, right? The time. This time also going to over. Going to over. When you are very unhappy, this time also going to over. That means, okay, I know I'm done now, I'm not happy, I have a problem, suffering, but the time is going to over. Then I will be happy. Then you are very happy. Somebody say, this time also going to over. Right? Then look at. So we need this kind of mental attitude. When you are very happy, you got something very unusual happen. You feel so happy. Your mentality attitude is so high. Then somebody said, this time also going to over is reduce the happiness. Also, when you are very suffering, unpleasant moment, this time also going to over, right? That's why here I said, look at analysis. Analysis of the basis. Next one. Analysis of the object. Anger is unjustified. Analysis of the basis. Then anger is unjustified. Analysis the cause of harm and where the fault lies. Analyzing your commitment. As a Mahayan practitioner, you have a commitment to make happy all sentient being. Never be make suffering any sentient being. When you get angry someone, you have a sense of hatred. Then you start to harm others. Then you must remember, your commitment. Then showing the compassion is appropriate. When somebody harm you, should not harm back. You must have a compassion towards the person or the things. Then stopping impatient with those who prevented your praise, fame or honor. It's so difficult as somebody prevent prevent your praise, fame or honor. You will get very angry and upset. But also saying, with those who have contempt for you or say offensive or unpleasant thing to you. Somebody contempt you, make you unhappy. Somebody offends you. Somebody says something unpleasant to you. You need to remain as a rock, as a rock. In our life, have a lot of changes mentality, which our mind always change momentarily. That's why we cannot have a lasting mental happiness. So it look like we are like a piece of paper. Look at the wind come blow is going this way. Wind blow this way, the paper just moving here and there. Okay, our mind is look like exactly. Somebody say, "Oh, you are so good." Your mind go up. Somebody say, "You are very bad." You may totally go down. Look like you really lost hope. We should not be like, we should be look like very, strong or hard piece of rock. Somebody say you are really good, you are something special, you don't care. Somebody say you are very bad, you don't care. Be reminds, always be calm. Then start to have a, lasting happiness. We should not have a lot of, changes in our mind. Contempt, offensive, or unpleasant thing to say. Stopping impatient with those who prevent three things. Again, praise, fame, or honor. Is this by? Do you remember the 8 worldly consent? Somebody really, praise you, you're happy. Somebody criticize you, you're unhappy. You receive something, you're very happy. You won't receive, unhappy. That means we call, we say we are in samsara, we have sufferings. Most of we have, mental suffering than the physical suffering, right? Most of us physically quite healthy, right? Healthy. Mentally, we are not healthy. That's why, because we are mentally not healthy, because our mind is very easy to change. Then a reflection on how praise and so forth lack good qualities. A reflection on how praise and so forth have faults. That means when you don't have a time to read all Lamrim, just read this page and try to reflect the meanings. Okay, now we go the start. How to train the profession of patience is as a 5 division, right? 5 headlands. What patience is, how to begin the cultivation of patience, the division of patience, how to practice, a summary. So again the definition of patience is, right? Patience is disregarding harm done to you. Somebody harm you, you should not feel very bad, disregarding. You don't really feel bad. Then accepting the suffering arising in your mind stream. That means when you, second types of patience, you need to accept the suffering. Third is being, certain about teaching and firmly maintaining the belief in them. That means you have to be patient if somebody harm you. You have to be patient, when you face sufferings and problems. The second, what we call, transform the suffering into the path. The third, what we call, all the obstacle transform into path. So number one, I think, if somebody harm us, we cannot be patient, right? We get very angry and upset. We are very unhappy. Particularly, we must know, particularly, you always do good thing to particular person, right? You always do good thing for your friends, your relatives, like a co-worker. You always really do good thing to the person. The person always, try to harm you. That time you cannot be patient, right? You cannot patient. This is one of the difficulty practice. Second, how we can accept the suffering arising in your mind stream. That's why Shantideva said, right? Very important advice. If there's something you can do, right? If you can change why you are not so unhappy, because you can change the situation, right? You can change the situation. If there's no anything or you can change the situation, why you are so unhappy? Because you cannot change the situation. called the Geshe Yonten-la pen. That's why anytime, when you face very difficulties, you cannot change that difficulty situation. You should think, why I'm so unhappy, because I cannot do anything. Be happy, right? Someday you can see, I know this is difficulty, it's a problem, but I can see I'm able to change, I'm able to, get some kind of condition to change the situation. Then why you are unhappy? Because you have the means or methods to change something. That's why you can transform the suffering, accept the suffering. Third one, I think we really need being certain about teaching and firmly maintaining the belief in them. We really need the third one. Third one what? Being certain about the teachings, firmly maintaining the belief in them. We really need the third one. That's why, you can see many people at the beginning, believe in Dharma, try to study Dharma, try to practice Dharma. Then after a few months, few weeks, few years, the people, totally give up to practice Dharma because they are not certain. They cannot maintain the belief in them. There are the three sets of factors incompatible, right? Incompatible with this. For the first, hostility. When you have a hostility, like a hatred, then you cannot disregarding harm done to you. The second one again, right? Hostility and loss of the courage. Third, disbelief and dislike. Those are the factors to have a impatience or cannot accept the suffering, cannot maintain the belief in the Dharma, right? Hostility. Second one, hostility and loss of courage. Third one, what is the third one? Yeah, disability and dislike. Right, disability, dislike. That means you really cannot believe or you really don't like. The practicing patient means, look again, the practicing patient means that you simply, complete your conditioning to state of mind wherein you have stopped your anger and the like. So you totally stop to have an anger towards someone or something. That means you are accomplished, perfection, patient of perfections. Right? That means, so when you practice ethical discipline, you totally stop the mind which is, feel to harm. Right? So when you practice generosity, you need to, eliminate or you need to stop the mind which is have a clinging or attachment towards your belonging. Right? Here patience, you totally need to stop the conditioning to state of mind wherein you have stopped your anger and the like. It is not contingent upon all living beings become free from undisciplined conduct, because you would not be able to bring this about. Right? You cannot control all living beings. Be patience. Now next we start how to begin the cultivation of patience. I think we read this sentence, really nice one. Undisciplined person are as limitless as space, right? Undisciplined person are as limitless as space. Second one. Next one. If you
conquer the single mental state of anger, it is like vanquishing all your enemies.
Next one.
Where could you get enough leather to cover the entire surface of the earth? Wearing just the leather of your sandals is like covering all the earth. Similarly, I cannot change external things, but I can change my state of mind. Why do I need to change anything else?
Right, beautiful sentences. When you have a problem with your boss, problem with your family, friend, you should research this one. Undisciplined person are as limitless as space. You just limitless as space. Then you could not never cover them. Right? Just read all the sentence. Okay, it's very interesting. It's true. It's really true. If you you could never overcome them. If you conquer the single mental state of anger, it is like vanquish all your enemies, right? That's why you cannot ask everybody nice to me, right? Even though you cannot ask your friends to be nice with me. If you control your anger, everybody will be nice with you. I cannot change external things, but when I can change my state of mind, why do I need to change anything? You can say, similar, I cannot change you, but when I can change my mind, then I can look like I change you, right? Similar, right? I cannot change you. If I change my mind, I change you, right? It's very nice. So everybody, memorize this sentence and recite when you get angry and upset. When you have an argument, you just recite each other. Huh? This is really good. Now, how to begin the cultivation of patience. Although there are many ways to cultivate patience. To begin, I will explain the meditation on benefit of patience and the faults of the not being patient. The benefit are set for the Bodhisattva's levels, right? Initially, Bodhisattva was considered the benefit of patience. They think a person who have patience will not have many enemies later on and will not have many separation from those to whom they are close, right? That's why I think somebody asked me a question, if you think about benefit of a practice of, I can get benefit of practice of patience, I can get benefit practice of Shila and morality. Then she said, it look like the person have a kind of strong self-center, right? Self-center. This may look like she think is totally bit again with the practice of bodhicitta. Then I said, you should think I can get all the benefits, not only for me, only. Okay, I can get a lot of benefit, not only me, also give benefit for others. This means is not really against practice of bodhicitta. Look at person who have patience will not have many enemies. You can see, the person who are very impatient, they don't have enough patience, the person always have enemies. Within your family, some always be patient, all family like the person. You are very impatient, nobody likes you. Then will not have many separation from those who, that means again, someone very close to you, he or she is very best friend with you. If you are very angry person, if you are not enough patient, and slowly the friend, walk away. When they saw each other and say hello, they never come closer and say, let's go for coffee, right? Because the person know you are very angry. They know you are very impatient. separation from this, then they will have much happiness and contentment. If you are, patient, then you will have a much happiness. You are very content. They will have no regret at the time of death. Most important. That means the person is very, angry person, not enough patient, then person have a lot of enemy. Or the person always do bad things, right? Then moment of the death, then people get regret. For example, when you are young, you have a lot of argument, lot of fighting with your friends and families, so. When you are getting older, slowly start to have a regret, right? So when you are very young, so you have a lot of argument, fighting, so you always use bad word. So when you're getting older, then you feel, I wasn't good person. I have a lot of argument with my friends, family. Then start to give a regret. It's still okay. So you are close to the death. Close to death, death. Then you remember, whole my life I have been doing so many bad things that you get a regret. At least you're able to regret is good. Sometimes, it's not regret, only, disappointment, regret, death. And upon the disintegration of their body, they will also be reborn among the deities in the happy realms of high status. The deities refer to, form and formless being. By looking at such as benefit, they are true are patient. They engage other in upholding patience, and they also freeze patience. When they see patient person, they are delighted and full of joy. Also in Buddhism we use the aura. Also in India they use very often aura. For example, if you are very patient, you are very honest, you are a very good person, someone just stay next to you, the person feels so happy. They say, the person has a great aura. Aura, for example, okay, so, behind the Buddha head, can you see there's a color? We usually say a rainbow, but we call aura. Even though just stay next to Buddha, you can feel, the happiness, the greatness. This we call aura. That means if you always practice patience, then the people always happy who stay next to you. Okay, this is kind of lot of, there are so many benefits. So we read the next sentence. Compendium of the perfection says, it is said, patience is the approach. Okay, so do you understand all the meaning? Patience is the best approach for dealing with the inclination of disengage other welfare. Patience is patient against the fault of anger, protect all that is the excellent in the world. So please everybody try to memorize all the sentence. Then you are able to practice patience. Now we just move to the division of the patience. Oh, no. So before this move, we need to explain, we need to recite another few verses. I didn't put the color, okay. No. So destroying the virtues, right? What's the sentence? Sentence number? 155. Quotation from where? Bodhisattva way of life. right? Engage in Buddha, any good dish such as you have collect the word. Yeah. Okay, everybody read together. Right, this look at this mean. So when you get angry, the anger totally destroyed the virtues, right? Virtues, accumulate through offering things to Buddha, Bodhisattvas, right? Generosity, yeah. Any good deeds such as a generosity and worship the Sugata you have collected over 1,000 eon are all destroyed in one moment of anger. One moment of anger. So there's I think many different kind of levels. For example, if you get angry towards Bodhisattvas, yeah, okay, when you get angry towards Bodhisattva, then you will destroy your own virtues. Also, when you make angry Bodhisattvas, when you did something wrong, the Bodhisattvas get angry, then also is destroyed more virtues. Also, when you get angry, equivalent to you, also there's they also destroy certain level of virtues. For example, rejoicing, right? Accumulating merit. The best or the easy way to accumulate merit is the rejoicing. When you rejoice the virtues of Buddhas, you can accumulate, lot of merit. When you rejoice the virtues of the person who are very equal to you, then also you accumulated, lot of merit. When you rejoice the person who are more lower than you, also you are accumulating, a lot of merit. The same thing, when you get angry towards maybe Buddha. Sometimes I think, someone get angry towards Buddha, right? Because it's very true, because we have a misperception or misunderstanding about Buddha. When we think of Buddha, we thought Buddhas look like God, the God. All your happiness is depend on Buddha. All your suffering also depend on Buddha. That's why you make a lot of offering to Buddha. You think the Buddha will give you a lot of happiness. The Buddha will remove all your obstacles and problems. So you have been, doing this kind of activity for many years. You always request to Buddha, give me happiness, remove my suffering, give me happiness, remove my suffering. So it doesn't work for after many years. Then you get angry, right, towards Buddha. So because you see, I have been offering this, light and incense of food to you. You never have me. You get angry, right? Angry. That's why make sure you must have a proper understanding about offering things to Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha. Mainly you are offering for what? Accumulating merit. We are not asking Buddha can remove my all sufferings. We never asking to Buddha, you can please give me everything which is I want. Right? That's why getting anger is very bad. Look at, you have collected over 1,000 eons. You collected the karma positive virtues for 1,000 eons, but are all destroyed in one moment of anger. So the basic thing, before, so of course, in order to reduce the anger, first, we always need to look, all sentient beings are nice. All sentient beings, remember all sentient beings as your dear one. Number one, you must think all sentient beings are your dear one. So kind of you, so nice to you. Then bit, difficult to get angry towards them. Second, you should think, yes, those are very nice, but still, he or she always try to harm me, try to do some bad thing to me. Then you should think, the easy one, you should think, this is my karma. Right? You just say, oh, it's my karma. My karma is good way to think, but the actual one, what do you think? Yes, they try to harm me, they try to do bad thing on me, but you should think it's good opportunity to practice patience. Patience. That's why, Shantideva said, you must respect to your enemy as your gurus or your teacher. What teacher teach you? Practice of patience, practice of generosity. Also, without patience, without enemy, you cannot practice patience. You cannot learn patience. That's why when you see somebody try to harm you, try to do some bad thing, you should think, oh, it's good opportunity to practice patience. It is good opportunity to test my patience. That means you won't get angry and upset. Otherwise, you have to pay, right? Oh, show me anger, then you have to pay. It's no good. That's why just think, they are good, they are good, they look like my teacher. Then, number one, accept all sentient beings as your dear one. Second, you should think, those are my teacher. And number third, you should think, without sentient beings, without any sentient beings, I cannot accumulate merit. Without accumulating merit, I cannot be Buddha. That's mean using this kind of reasoning and logics, then you can, finally you can see everybody are so nice to you, so kind of you. Then bit difficult to get angry towards this one. Then, so this kind of, awareness, this kind of understanding, you always have in your mind. You always keep in your mind. Then, whenever you go, you have this kind of mentality. Then very, it's not easy to get angry. Yeah, this one. Then, so there's a few okay, next we just jump to the division of the patience. The section on the division of the patience has three parts. What are they? Number two? Number three? Teaching. That's what three are very important, particularly as a studying, student of Dharma, practice of Dharma. We really need the third one, developing the passion of, certitude about the teaching. Okay, so today we just stop here. So we should have a time for question answer. Then homework, I'll give you very little. How many pages you can finish? 1, 2, 3. How many pages? 10. Thank you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Just give 7. One day, one page. This means 159 to 174. 159 to 174. And also, right now we just talk about patience. Generally, we should have a patience towards all sentient beings. Particularly, I think, any center or any like a society, many people, always meet once a week, or twice a week, or once a month, twice a month. That means people become very familiar with each other. For example, TBC, we have a few classes, so most of you meet very often. Huh? What?
You know each other.
Yeah. We know each other, which is very good. Also, make sure you should not, try to know each other very quickly. Just take a time, then slowly try to know each other, come closer to each other. And also, you should not try to be, separate very quickly. Be friend as a Dharma friend. We usually use, dear, brother and sister in Dharma. So most of you, come to TBC very often, meet each other, see each other, know each other very well, and try to be good friends. And also as a Buddhist, doesn't matter the person follow which tradition, Hinayana tradition or Mahayana tradition. You should still think, those are my, Dharma friends in Dharma. They always be, good. Always to be good each other. Always try to, have a really pure respect each other. Sometimes I can see, some people go some center, some other go other center. When they look each other, when they, see each other, look like, they're not really friends. They look like enemy. Sometimes also in TBC I can see, someone entering the gate, them one neck going like this. Someone coming other neck going like this, doing the neck exercise. Like this. To know, everybody, try to be good friend, be patient, some problem, disagreement, always here and there, still, befriend each other. This is my really request to all of you. Any question? No. No question. Okay, so now then we can do the dedication prayers. Everybody try to practice patience with everybody, also patient with my English. Okay, thank you.